Airborne, 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 airborne. What's up, crackheads? What's going on? It's Joey Crack, the genius. What's going on out there? Here to talk about airborne, airborne. Did you know at one time, Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig almost threw Brock Lesnar out of a plane at 397 feet in the air, coming back from London, England on the WWE tour in 2002. And Curt Hennig and Brock Lesnar, you know, everybody was on the plane. It was called the plane ride from hell. If anybody ever heard the story, it's on YouTube. Xbox talks about it. The whole WWE roster was on this plane. I mean, I'm just going to kick off with the show this and talk about the Kevin Nash getting arrested over the weekend. A couple other things if I got time, the NFL playoff picture. But the plane ride from hell, you know, the summer of right at the WrestleMania. Right at the WrestleMania, what was it, 2002? Right at the WrestleMania 18. Because the NWO was there and X-Pac telling the story. It was just crazy. I mean, everybody was drunk. Vince was on the plane. Everybody was just a mess. Scott Hall was just inebriated on drugs. X-Pac said he had to put Scott Hall in the wheelchair and wheel him past JR, Pat Patterson, and Vince at the airport. Brock Lesnar and Mr. Perfect, who were friends, you know what I mean? That's why, if you ever see the clip of Curt Hennig in TNA, and he keeps plugging it, this is when TNA first started, in 2003, before Curt Hennig died. In 2003, Curt Hennig was in the ring with the Road Dogg, you know, in TNA, and he was like, let everyone remember, I'm the guy who took down Brock Lesnar at 397 feet. They say Kurt Angle, you know what I mean? You know, not Kurt Angle, Curt Hennig, what do you call it, was kicking Brock's ass. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that has a lot to do. And Dominic, whatever your name was, you were just, I think it was it Dominic Cruz? Man, fuck you. This Joey G, Joey Crack, the genius. CM Punk will get eaten alive in UFC. Yo, let me tell you something. It's a little time when the smaller guys, and I'm like mid-size. I ain't real big. I ain't real small. I'm right in the middle. When I was younger, I'm talking younger, 12, 11, 10, 9. What do you call it? I was a little fat and chubby. I got out of that in 8th grade, 13, 14. By the time I was 14, I wasn't fat anymore. And I was chunky. You know what I mean? But let me tell you something. I ain't a real big dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a gun. You know what I'm saying? It ain't real big, but I got strongness in me. And you can see, CM Punk's got that temper like I got, where he just freaks out, he don't feel pain. You know what I mean? Now I look at dudes, when I was younger and I was a teenager, you know how it is, you're intimidated by some dudes, and now I look at them and I just think about them, these dudes, I grew up in Fox days, and there was a couple dudes, thought maybe they were tougher than me, you know what I'm saying, maybe tried to punk me out. Now I look at these dudes, I would smash these dudes. I would break their necks, oh my gosh. And you know who I'm talking to if you're watching me. I would break your neck, for real. And then break your family's neck, too, for real. And everybody in it, for real. So don't fuck with Joey G, alright, for real. But it just cracks me up because, people don't think, the smaller dudes can fight. You know what I mean? When Chris Jericho, when Goldberg came into WWE and was talking shit on Jericho, oh, that little son of a bitch, I'll kick his ass, I'll throw him in the front row. Jericho walked right up to Bill Goldberg and said, listen, you son of a bitch. They started fighting, and Jericho, little-ass Jericho, big-ass Bill Goldberg was kicking his ass. Because big dudes think they can fight all the time. Trust me, and I ain't biting off Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels. I'm the dirtiest fighter there is. I'll do anything. I'll use anything. That's one thing with Joey J. If I'm in wrestling, that's why I always got to be the heel. Because I was that way when I remember cracking a broom across this dude, Sean Rooney. It lives 2 doors away from my mom's house. I was 9 years old, and he was chasing me. And he was 3 years older than me. I was 8. No, I was 9. He was 12, and I was running, and I saw a broomstick on the ground. I just turned around, and I was bang! I just cracked him up. He was oh! And he fell on the ground like that. I was bang! I just kicked him and ran in my house. And straight up, that's how it always was. You know what I mean? I'd always get somebody alone. And now, up there, dude, I would take over. 10 years ago, I would have took that shit over. For real. I would have took that neighborhood Fox station over in 95 if I wanted to. I could have if I wanted to. I really could have. I could have went up that playground and beat everybody the fuck up, one-on-one. For real, and just took it over. You know what I mean? For real, for real. But, you know, I stayed up in Somerton, you know what I mean? Because I had a lot of friends in Fox Chase, but some dudes thought they were a little too tough for the bridges, you know what I mean? And like I said, payback's a bitch and karma's a bitch, you know what I mean? And I remember everything, that's all I'm saying, you know what I mean? So, anyway, Kevin Nash was arrested over the weekend. No, actually Friday night was it Thursday night or Friday night he was arrested in his house in Florida. Him and his son was actually Tristan. Tristan was his son. He's got a beard. Him and Kevin Nash were both, Kevin Nash got out of jail and his son got out of jail last night. They were both locked up. You hear Kevin Nash's, on the phone call, they called the cops. Kevin Nash's wife called the cops. You hear Kevin in the background saying he's out of control. His son Tristan's his name. He's 19 years old. He got a beard. Looks like he's Muslim. He's got a beard. White dude. Beard. Oh, we know that. What do you call it? And showed, him in court and showed Kevin. Kevin Nash, big sexy, had a scar right here. He had a scar here. He had a scar here. And the kid had a couple scars. But the kid started attacking the mom. And I guess the mom must be like a southern hick because they said Kevin Nash's brother-in-law went there and they were sitting in the kitchen playing cards drinking. And they were drinking, and you can hear the Kevin Nash's brother-in-law like, yeah, he came in here, started with Big Kev, and like he was straight talking like a straight redneck hick, and Kevin Nash's wife was a redneck hick too. Kev's from South Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Kev's from up. Matter of fact, the Detroit Lions are losing right now, 30-14. If the Lions would win, they'd get home field advantage. Now, if the Lions lose, the Cowboys get home field advantage. Fuck Dallas. But anyway, Kevin Nash, he's from Detroit, so he's East Coast or Midwest, you know what I mean? He's got that Detroit accent, like a Philly accent, or like a Cincinnati accent. He's got that Cleveland accent, a hardcore, a middle class, accent, And you hear Kevin in the background, like he was out of control. But the thing was, the kid, kind of, I think, locked himself in his room or something and said, I think Kevin Nash did hit his son too because the son started hitting the mom and then hit Kevin. And, Kevin Nash is a big motherfucker. The son don't look that big. I mean, he's 19 years old, but Kevin Nash's son don't look that big. And I guess Kev pounded on him and the kid hit him back and they started going at it. The uncle stayed out of it, but then as they were locking up the kid, the kid had marks on his face and they said, who did that to you? And he said, he did, my dad, Kevin Nash, And they locked him up and showed Kevin his jumpsuit, but they got out on bond last night. Both of them. Kevin Nash and Tristan Nash. Tristan sounds like a girl's name, because I know a couple girls named Tristan, but it's a guy, Tristan. He looks like Kevin in the eyes. He looks just like his dad in the eyes. But he's got like a little beard. If you watch, you wrestling fans heard about it. You know what I mean? But that's really, the biggest news going around. Also, WrestleMania, as I was saying, the WrestleMania card last night, and I came back, I said, Vince wants Undertaker versus Sting. He doesn't care. He says people have wanted this match, and I kind of agree with him, as I said before, but like they were talking possible main event at WrestleMania. Undertaker against Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns. Brock is the champion, with Roman winning. With Brock Lesnar hasn't signed with, UFC yet. That's not definite. CM Punk is, and I don't think it's in cahoots. I don't think he'll be at the Royal Rumble. If he is at the Royal Rumble, that's great. I'll mark out. I'll just go crazy, even if he don't win. If you just, the cult of personality, please. If this Fire Burn starts playing, you know what I mean? I would go crazy, because in Punk we trust. You know what I'm saying? CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. But, you know what I mean? I don't think he's coming back. But Dominic Cruz, whatever the fuck your name is, CM Punk will get eaten alive. Fuck you, dude. I'll beat your ass, Dominic Cruz, for real, with a bat, alright? So, you know what I mean? Whatever, with a pipe, with anything. Alright, CM Punk can fight. When you get mad and you can't feel nothing, and it don't matter how big you are, if you can go, you can go. And that's why I got that killer instinct. I love the wrestling business. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Like people said the one Sean Waltman could never go. Sean Waltman is the most underrated wrestler ever. The most underrated athlete ever. Most underrated wrestler ever. The 1-2-3 kid, X-Pac, 6-Pac, 1-2, like I said, any name you want to call him. The Lightning Kid, that's how he started off. The Kamikaze Kid, then it went to the 1-2-3 Kid, then the Kid, then 6, then 6-Pac, then X-Pac, and now it's basically 6. He's known as 6 when he's not in WWE. When he's in WWE, it's X-Pac. But he's 6 when he's anywhere else. And I kind of like 6 better, too. That was his first name after 1, 2, 3 Kid, like after his like gimmick fringe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 6. Not 6-Pac, just 6. I like 6-Pac, like as a nickname, but 6, that was his name. I like that name. That was a cool name. And then he went over back to WWE, so they had to call him X-Pac to fit in with the Generation X. So, but I still like 6. 6 is what I would go with. Even if he was back in WWE, I don't know why. I guess, because WWE owns everything WCW owns, so they could call him 6. They could call him 6-Pac. But, he's known as 6. It's like Scott Hall calls him. Scott Hall calls him Kid Pac. That's what he calls him. So does Kevin Nash. I'm guessing that's what HBK and Triple H call him, too. And also, I want to talk about, greatest WrestleMania matches. And then I was thinking, talking with a friend earlier, my favorite WrestleMania match and why. And, if I think of most recently my favorite WrestleMania match, and it's Shawn Michaels. And I was asked, what's my favorite Shawn Michaels WrestleMania match ever? And a lot of people would say Razor Ramon in the ladder match, WrestleMania 10. No, it wasn't. Shawn wasn't really even over yet. That match just got him, like, saying, okay, I'm a big player in this business. I think the better ladder match between Shawn and Razor was at SummerSlam 95 in Pittsburgh. That match was better than the first one. The first one was big because it was WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And as Ric Flair saying Shawn went in there and had a match for the ladder and, like, just trying to diss Scott Hall. Because Scott Hall, behind, Shawn HBK is my favorite of all time, but Scott Hall's right behind him. I love Scott Hall. Scott Hall, hey, yo. Say hello to Razor Ramon. I liked him when he was Big Scott Hall in the AWA, when AWA was on at 4 o'clock on ESPN. You know what I mean? I remember he was Big Scott Hall. I liked him as the Diamond Stud back in WCW when he was like a mute, and Diamond Dallas Page did all his talking for him. And then he became and he came to WWF, and I was like, yeah, that's Scott Hall. Huh? You know what I mean? And then Razor Ramon just blew up. And then he went to WCW, and I gotta say, when he went to back to WCW the second time, his career went on. But Sean Waltman, get back, it's just one of the greatest ever. He's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. One of my personal favorites. I love the whole clique. Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall are my 2 favorite wrestlers of all. And Edge and Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect. I got a lot of them. But like in them 5, I'd have to say Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Edge, Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect, the whole clique. Even Triple H. I know he's a dickhead, but, he owns the WWE, basically. He doesn't own the WWE, but he does own NXT. That's his baby. The WWE is Vince's baby, but NXT is Triple H's baby. That was all Hunter's idea. Shout outs to the clique, and shout outs to my clique, Mikey Knorr, Charlie O'Neill, Stacy Click Chick, Buddha, Ace Diesel for life. You know it, Manny Tanya, what's up? Shout out to D-Mac, to all the troops. Peace, what's up? NWO for life. And WrestleMania, it's going to be Sting and Taker. That's what Vince wants. He doesn't care how old they are. This match would have been good, like I said, this match would have been great. I think The Undertaker's last great match at WrestleMania, that he carried the match, was WrestleMania, even though it was WrestleMania 27 in the Georgia Dome, the second time he fought Triple H. If you remember, he fought Triple H at WrestleMania 17 when Triple H was like first in his prime and Taker won at the Astrodome. And they fought 10 years later in the Georgia Dome in WrestleMania 27. And that would have been the best time for Undertaker and Sting to fight. Because after that, at that Hell in the Cell match at WrestleMania 28, end of an era, Triple H carried that match, and Shawn Michaels was involved in that match. And that's why they and then with Punk carried that whole match. That's why half of MetLife Stadium was cheering for CM Punk at WrestleMania 29. And then this year, WrestleMania 30, Brock destroyed him. You know what I mean? That's why Undertaker is going to fight this year, and that's why he's going to fight Sting. It's going to be Undertaker and Sting one-on-one at WrestleMania. Most likely, that could be the last match. I can't see the Undertaker and Sting being on a WrestleMania card and not being against each other. I can't see Vince McMahon letting that happen, and it won't happen. The Undertaker will face Sting at WrestleMania. Subscribe to Joey G, the future voice, the future creative mind of wrestling and sports entertainment as you know it. This is Joey G. I'm out. Peace, crackheads.